Today is Zendaya's birthday. You know her and you love her. I thought, what if we watch her favorite movies? When she comes home from a long day of filming Euphoria, how does she reset? Zendaya has listed her favorite movies as being Interstellar, Get Out, A Wrinkle in Time, Superbad, and If Beale Street Could Talk. And I have already seen Get Out and Interstellar, so I'll give my mini little reviews for those at the end of this video. But what about those three I haven't seen? Let's watch them together and see what we think of Miss Zendaya's overall cinematic taste. Guys, I can't stop watching Heartstopper edits. A mini little review of Wrinkle in Time. I think Stormy Reed proves how talented she has become in this film alone. I also think the little boy that plays Charles Wallace is incredibly talented. No offense to Calvin, but I just feel like somebody told him, like, play a 90s heartthrob when you're literally 12 years old, potentially playing younger. The core of the story of this little girl wanting a connection with her father, of trying to get that connection back since she's missed it so desperately. I think that is such a sweet story of figuring out and accepting who you are through the people that love you. I think that's a really beautiful, like, message to the kids that I believe this movie is intended for. When it comes to this being one of Zendaya's favorite movies, I have to assume that part of it is Stormy Reed because they have such a close relationship. Part of it, I feel, is probably that this being adapted from a novel could have been like one of Zendaya's favorite novels that she read as a child. I see this being largely a comfort movie for anyone who saw this super young, who has read the book, who has some type of just like nostalgic connection for the movie. In terms of like an actual film that has rewatchability for someone who is like discovering it as an older teenager or adult, I feel like it doesn't have much intrigue there. I feel everything moves along at a decent enough pace, but nothing seems to kind of escalate until you really get to the end. And even then, I feel like a part of the story has already been resolved. I am not trying to tear this movie apart. I'm not trying to give it a negative review. I'm trying to find the positives in it. And I just think that it's one that I lack a connection to. I felt like it's just a little too low energy for me. I love a good character journey, and so I do appreciate Meg growing, but I think she's almost just too like passive of a character, so that even when she does make choices towards the end of the film, the realization's almost been made for her by other characters and other events in the films. So tonight we are going to watch If Beale Street Could Talk. And the reason we're watching that and not Superbad, because if I just talked about a movie that's like not funny necessarily, you'd think, oh, counterbalance that. But Superbad is not available anywhere until midnight tonight when it goes on to Netflix on September 1st, as if for Zendaya's birthday, which is kind of perfect. But it means that this video is going to be finished in real time. Without further ado, If Beale Street Could Talk. It is Friday, September 1st. Happy birthday, Zendaya. What we're really here to talk about is If Beale Street Could Talk, because I finished it last night. I very much understand why Regina King won an Oscar for it. I really just the talent that If Beale Street Could Talk has in its little pinky finger could fuel the film industry for years. Like, I'm talking Diego Luna, Pedro Pascal, Anna Paris. The way that this film shows how love persists through everything, like familial love is always there, how romantic love, when it's deep and true and pure, it is like it's not going to be stopped by anything. However, I think the movie does a really interesting job of showing that, like, just because you have this strong deep love, you don't get a happy ending. You don't necessarily, it doesn't overcome the facts of the world. I like that aspect of the film. The film is visually stunning. The production design is wonderful. The cinematography is really beautiful. I don't know that I'll be like in a rush rewatching it. It's definitely not going to enter into my top favorites, but that's not to say that I don't appreciate the fact that she loves me. So we finished Superbad, yay! Completely understand why this is a cult classic. The humor really works because I see how this is like a predecessor to Booksmart, which is ironic, of course, because Jonah Hill is in this version and Beanie Feldstein, his sister, is in Booksmart. Like, I see that comparison so clearly. The entire cast is just so funny in each of their own unique ways. I really love the like broness of the movie. There's so many movies that try to do this but are too scared to commit to kind of almost the ways in which Superbad could be taken as like offensive or like stereotypical or crass. And a lot of these other movies, I feel like, don't commit to it, but committing to it is what makes it work. The whole McLovin storyline is just so over the top, and I also was killing myself when they clear out the laundry detergent and fill it with alcohol. Like, it's so funny to look at like how single-minded and singular focused this movie can be, and yet how it becomes this like long journey. I appreciate kind of the stupid simplicity of this movie and how genuinely funny it was. So really glad to say that I've finally seen that one. How would I rank Zendaya's top films? The first thing I have to say is woman has range in what she likes, what she watches. Like, to me, to put like Interstellar on the same list as like Superbad, or even more interesting, like Wrinkle in Time with Superbad. I appreciate this so much. I would be lying if I did not put Get Out at the very top of the list. I've seen that movie so many times. I think it is endlessly dissectable, endlessly interesting, well written. Even though there's been years of interviews with Jordan Peele explaining things, I still feel like that movie is so good. So that's going on my number one. Then I'm gonna put Interstellar number two. Interstellar, you know, it's a little bit longer, but I love Matthew McConaughey. I love seeing Jessica Chastain in this role. I think the look at love and the trippy time travel element mixed with like the actual, how much of an impact time and losing it is, works so well in that movie. So love that. Then at three, honestly think I'm probably going to say Superbad, because that's the one that has, to me, from the new ones that I've watched, the most rewatchability. Fourth place, we're going to put If Beale Street Could Talk, because it is really beautiful and is probably one I'm gonna like sift through in my mind for a while, but again, not one I'm like aching to rewatch. Finally, at the bottom, we're gonna put in fifth place A Wrinkle in Time, simply because it just doesn't have the nostalgia element for me that I think probably makes it work for Zendaya. Here I am just assuming these things, and maybe Miss Z would have a full breakdown of this movie ready to go that would make me appreciate it more. So Zendaya, babe, if you want to hang out, I think we could be friends. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for checking this one out with me. And of course, let me know in the comments below whose list of favorite movies I should be exploring next. The possibilities are truly endless, and I do have a lot of lists kind of locked and loaded and ready to go for whenever you guys are ready. I will see you all in my next video. Happy birthday, Zendaya.